I've always been a fan of the futurism or the sci-fi elements of Disney, whether it be Tomorrowland or the many exhibits of Epcot's Innoventions. I know that Disneyland had its own version of Innoventions too, which I never got to experience, but if there's one thing that ties all the science fiction or futurism of the Disney parks together, it's definitely the incredibly weird robot characters. Disney actually has a pretty extensive history of building bizarre robots, ranging from the robot butler and out-of-control robot chef from Horizons, to Communicore's Smart One, which you could communicate with by speaking through a telephone. Disneyland Space Mountain had a FedEx robot when it was sponsored by that company. The Magic Kingdom Space Mountain had a similar robot who now processes luggage. The exit ramp contains a new, updated version of the Horizons Butler robot. The Mars travel scene features Nipper, the robot dog, and there's some crazy looking unnamed robot figure that I can find no information about, but it looks absolutely terrifying to behold. In the Star Tours queue, the attraction features the Goose Droids, which were reskinned, or rather de-skinned geese, from the defunct attraction America Sings. And the original iteration of the ride featured RX-24 as the pilot. It was later put into Oga's Cantina as a DJ. There's the malicious Sir from Alien Encounter, who was notable for his cruelty, and then he was reprogrammed for Stitch's Great Escape, working as a prison guard by the easy-to-remember name Sergeant C4703BK2704-90210. You can remember that, right? In Disneyland's Innoventions, there was Tom Morrow. No, wait, that's not right. Yep, there he is. And if that wasn't bad enough, Tom Morrow 2.0 made his premiere at Epcot's Innoventions, which, yeah, I suppose that he's not as bad, but still bizarre just the same. Oh, and of course, we cannot forget that Epcot's Innoventions had the Motorola robot, Starnak, who, in my opinion, is just as weird and off-putting as the original Tom Morrow. You know, the robot, not the 1950s Mission Control guy. We also cannot forget Epcot's other robot characters, including the Epbots, Jason the Marine Research Robot, Gyro, Giro, and ICANN, which roved around Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland for a while, but briefly made a reappearance in front of Mission Space when Cosmic Rewind opened for whatever reason. Also, since Disney loves creating terrifying robots, we should also mention Electronic, another character who traumatized a generation of children who walked through Innoventions. Seriously, Disney, can you really not make a single robotic figure that's not the stuff of nightmares? For good measure, I should also throw in Otto, another skinless figure who was capable of interacting with audiences and was on showcase at D23 in 2009. There's probably characters and figures that I missed, but the whole idea behind this video was because of one robot character in particular. When I'm in Disneyland, I don't often choose to ride Autopia, but along the track, there's yet another weird robot figure that caught my eye. Who are they, and what's their purpose on the ride? Well, I certainly didn't know, and I was interested to find out. So today, let's talk about one of Disneyland's weirdest robot mascots. If you're driving through Autopia, then this particular character appears a fair few times throughout the course of the ride, and most people probably pass by and think nothing of him. However, I learned that his name is Asimo, and is based on a real robotic figure developed by Honda, which makes sense as they also sponsor the attraction. Asimo, or Advanced Step in Innovative Mobility, is one of many robots developed by the company since the 80s. Their first bipedal model was known as E0, which first premiered in 1986, and quickly, many generations of robots were developed that became more and more capable. Eventually, these evolved into Prototype 3, a human-sized figure that could walk independently and put on demonstrations where it was asked to perform various tasks. This model was on showcase from 1993 and through 1997, but in 2000, a similar figure debuted as Asimo, which was much smaller in size and was considerably more advanced in what it was capable of doing. Perhaps I'm just living under a rock, but robotics isn't something that I associate with Honda. When I think of the company, I picture a 1990 Honda Civic that's dangerously zipping through traffic on the highway with the driver on their way to go hang out and smoke at the nearest 7-Eleven. Of course, Honda is a Japanese company though, and the Japanese are known for developing robotics. Is Asimo fairly obvious to everyone else in Disneyland? Do I just need to be a car guy to know who he is? Maybe I'm just ignorant of something that everyone else knows about, but at the very least, my curiosity did lead me to learning that this is not a Disney Parks character, but rather a representation of real technology developed by Honda. Asimo was so impressive for his time, in fact, that he actually debuted in a show at Disneyland's Innoventions, which ran from 2005 and up through 2015. Titled Say Hello to Asimo, park guests sat down in a theater as an actor playing either a suburban mom or dad walked out onto the stage. The parent welcomes the audience and proceeds to excitedly say that their household was chosen to be one of the first to test out the Honda Asimo robot. The front door is opened and Asimo walks in after having just retrieved the mail, proceeding to the center of the room and saying hello to the audience.
Hello everyone.
So, Asimo, did we have any mail?
No, but your neighbor gave this to me.
Describing the show beat by beat would be tedious, and it's much more interesting to just watch it play out. But essentially, the parent character shows off Asimo and the various functions that he is capable of performing. The robot is pitched as being able to assist people in need, can fulfill service roles such as bringing food to a restaurant table, and is even capable of kicking a ball into a goal. I believe that for the run of the show, Asimo was controlled remotely and was not programmed to perform a show profile, so as far as I can determine, there was likely an operator hidden somewhere out of view of the audience. Still, for a show that has very little plot and is more of a tech showcase, it was actually pretty engaging and is exactly what I really liked about Innoventions. I only ever experienced the Epcot version, and while many exhibits could sometimes be a bit shallow in what they taught, others often felt substantial and got you excited for the future. In the case of Say Hello to Asimo, this really was an interesting showcase of where robotic technology might go, and while definitely not autonomous, the effect of the robot was pretty convincing. It fulfilled that Innovention's mission of sparking your imagination, optimistically wondering how the future of robotics would be integrated into the average household. In practice, the show was quite engaging. So how did that lead into Asimo's integration into Autopia? While the show had a good run for a decade, it closed in 2015, and in 2017, a renewal of the Honda sponsorship led to Asimo's installation alongside the track of Autopia. In the queue, there are 3 video screens that tie in with Honda, with the first showing Asimo packing up his car. Proceeding to the next screen, you meet an original robot character for Disneyland known as just the Bird, who appears to be designing flight technology. Moving on to the final screen, you view Asimo again, this time as he ponders which destination he should choose. Now boarding the vehicle and driving off, you first encounter Asimo in front of his car, as the Bird experiments with a futuristic hot air balloon. Later, after a lengthy driving segment through the woods, you can look to your left and spot Asimo camping with his Honda vehicles as he assists the Bird, who appears to be stuck in a tree at the end of a parachute. Looking to your right, you can see how a small biplane crashed into a water tower. In an easier to miss scene later on the track, you can also spot Asimo standing next to his Honda and assisting the Bird with his jerry-rigged flying machine built onto a bicycle. Finally, at the end of the ride, and after many failures to fly, Asimo was shown holding up the Bird to a billboard that showcases the Honda Jet, helping him to achieve his dream of flying. The actual sponsorship here is incredibly straightforward even for a Disney attraction, in how it so blatantly advertises Honda products. However, I can't say that it detracts from the ride experience, as the scenes do add a bit of interesting scenery throughout the ride. An issue I've always had with the Tomorrowland Speedway in the Magic Kingdom is not just how boring it is, but also how it has no ties at all with Tomorrowland itself as a racing attraction. At least with the original Autopia, it was conceived as a futuristic showcase of what the US highway system could do for people, and by now updating it with the future of travel and robotics technology from Honda, it actually incorporates the attraction into Disneyland's Tomorrowland quite a bit better. Despite its blatant, unapologetic advertising, I actually think it's a nice improvement, and Osmo and the bird are cute characters, so it's hard to dislike them. After viewing Osmo in Disneyland for such a long time, and not knowing who or what he was, through researching this video, I was surprised to learn that he isn't an original Disney Parks character, and is instead a real functioning piece of technology. I think that's appropriately relevant, and his inclusion in Tomorrowland is a welcome addition, even if his impressive show is no longer around. The mission of Innoventions at both Disneyland and Epcot was to get you excited for the future, and while he was around, I can see how Osmo helps further that goal, which I think is pretty cool. My only reservation is that he never appeared at Epcot, where I think he would have fit rather well, but his inclusion in Autopia is very much a positive addition to the ride. And so, in attempting to learn about yet another weird robot of the Disney parks, I actually discovered one who is much more cute and endearing. If you made it here to the end and enjoyed the video, you can do me a favor by leaving a like. And if you haven't yet subscribed and hit the bell notification yet either, you can do so now to be alerted to new videos as they're released.